What's up everyone, it's Joey, Blush Response, and today we're checking out the ESCO F Mob and Thief Swoop Eurorack module. Let's get right into it. Alright, ESCO F Mob and Thief Swoop. What is it? It's a function generator, much like the Surge DUSG or Make Noise Mass or many of the others that are available. But the difference is it has bounds and bounce modulation, which is a new concept from Ciat Lombard's Peter Blasser. The idea is, as best as I can describe it, imagine you're dribbling a basketball. The faster you dribble, the higher your rate of sound is. That's your bounce rate, so that's frequency. But if you start dribbling the ball higher up and down, you increase the bounds with which the ball moves, and so you get differing rates and shapes of your waveform. It's also tied into amplitude in some way. I don't fully grasp how it affects amplitude versus pitch, but I know it affects both, and you can quite obviously hear it. So let's hear it. I've got a simple patch here going with the Mob and Thief Swoop patched into the cutoff of the triptych. The instrumental CSL is going into the triptych, and the triptych goes out to a VCA, which then goes out to the Mimeo phone, and then to a Beats. And we're going to see if we can get crazy, because I found uses for this in making weird evolving modulation loops. This thing is always cycling. I haven't figured out a way to break the cycle. Maybe you can. It has a triangle and square out. Got a simple sequence going, and you can see I have something plugged into bounce. I have a maths channel plugged into bounce at the moment, one of the attenuverter channels, because with nothing in, it doesn't really open the filter all the way. And you might be wondering, well, why, if it's patched? You can hear like a little bit of modulation, but not very much. Like, it's very, very subtle, and the reason for that is because you need to add bounce. So now if I scale up, and you see now it's doing it. So there we go. You had to add to the bounce. You had to bring it up higher while you're dribbling it. Now this has a lot of modulation. You can use it as an oscillator. It doesn't track 1 volt per octave. Don't bother trying. You can tune it with your ear and get stuff, but you'll never get a fully musical sequence out of it. This is not the tool for that. This is the tool for strange experiments. You have a pulse output here. We can use that to trigger something. For example, I'll have it flip the normal and inverted regeneration on the triptych, and you can see it's doing it. Or we could flip from low and high sweep. And then you have this flip switch. So up is sub-audio, middle is audio, and lowest position is mid-audio. And we got some kind of like Tangerine Dream style sequencing going here. Very simple. Yes. So keep in mind it's always cycling, but now say I want to interrupt that cycle a little. I'm going to take the same gate that's triggering the sequencer, triggering the VCA envelope, and plug into this input. And now here's where the magic starts happening, because you got some weird shit with that re-triggering while it's still cycling. And that's cool. You could do that with any Mass or DSG, but then if we start introducing bounds modulation, perhaps from an LFO, bring up the delay a little bit. Now I'm gonna bring beats into the mix and have this same output modulate the density. I'm gonna pitch those grains up so you can see how it's bringing the grains. Bring up reverb a little. And then what I like about this is taking those outputs. Here you have separate trigger ins for both the rise and fall. On this one, rise and fall are up and down. Up is rise, down is fall. So I could take maybe the trigger from the kick to trigger an up curve separately, and I'll take the trigger from the offbeat hat to trigger the down curve. And then we'll send those out to different parameters like time and size on the beads. One from each output. And we're getting into some freaky, weird territory. We'll zoom in a bit. Let's say I don't like that LFO bounce modulation, so I'm gonna take that out and I'm instead gonna plug into an attenuator. I'm gonna send several modulations into the bounds. So I'm gonna plug the same LFO, I'm also gonna take the sub oscillator output, and then we're gonna scale both. And then take that output into the bounds and see what happens. The panel's a bit cramped, it gets annoying to tweak. But if we switch to audio rate or sub audio, mid audio. Get some weird stuff here. So you just create cool modulation shapes with it. And let's keep patching it. We'll come out of that pulse output, use that to affect the wave folder. And we'll use that pulse output to do hold on my microphone. Or no, we'll use that pulse output to freeze beats. Now we're gonna do the same, but we're gonna patch out again. And I love this idea of continuously patching stuff out into multiple elements of your patch because you get these organic moving beats. Now I'm gonna start modulating mimeophone zone and time with all of that. We'll take the same one that's modulating density. We'll have it modulate the filter on mimeophone. Then we'll have that one go into zone. And we'll have the other one go into the tuning. And we'll take more outputs into dry wet on the sweep. Stackables. And also into sweep. strange curves. You have to kind of play with it. Just to see what you get. But we'll get some strange shapes. We're gonna take another output now. I'm gonna send feedback from mimeophone out to modulate the down curve. Then I'm gonna send feedback from beats out to modulate the up curve. And flip that switch. Let's play with the sequence. And just keep patching. Like, who cares where it's going? Plug shit into shit. True to this reverb. Bring up density. Fully wet reverb. Yes. Weirdness. And we'll play with those envelope shapes again. Yes. Audio rate. So you just gotta fuck with it. There's a lot of crazy noise to be found. Love that. See if you can clear that out. So you can see, in orange it's negative, in green it's positive. Keep playing with it. I lowered the pitch on the beads. Playing with mimeophone. Let's see if we can just make some ambient textures. Yeah, crazy. Crazy. Put it in audio rate. Put another oscillator into the bounds modulation mix. Getting into just straight noise here. crazy. Yes. Oh, wow. Wow, that's fucking insane. Remember, that's the only modulation source. ES Golf mode with the Swoop. So that was pretty wild. I think the Swoop is a module that rewards experimentation because of its esoteric nature with the bounds and bounce modulation, as well as its patch programmability, which harkens back to Surge and Horde-ike style designs. There's a lot of elements in this design that set it apart from a normal function generator, mainly having to do with the bounds and bounce and the fact that it's always cycling and the flipping between audio and sub-audio rates. I think it's unique, and I think it would especially excel in a system geared toward analog patch programming, like with other Surge modules or other Mob-N-Theme modules. I wanted to try to use it today in a more conventional context, just to show you guys what can be done, how it would fit into a more conventional system. I think there's a lot of strength there for creating weird modulation shapes, and I think it's quite special in that regard. It can get glitchy, it can be feedback patched, and you have no fear of fucking anything up because it's fully analog. I think there's a lot of value in it for the advanced patcher. You would have to really spend a lot of time with it. Even I, having been using it for a while, was learning as I went today because I was trying new approaches, feedback patching in new ways just to get it going. I'd previously been using it as like a weird LFO, but today I tried to get even more intense with it and I unlocked some new knowledge. I think it's for those of you who want to get really, really deep. It's quite the opposite of a digital module that almost in some ways has a patch made for you that you just tweak. This, you have to think of everything yourself and how you're going to use it, and in that way I think it informs creativity, so I think it's fairly useful. As always, samples of this jam and other jams are going to be up on my Patreon for you to use in your own productions. If you want to support the channel, there's many ways you can do it. You can check out my music on Bandcamp, check out the music from my artists on my label Megastructure, and I have some new merchandise up for sale in the shop. I made 20 HP blank Eurorack panels. These are double-sided, so the front is my logo, the back is another logo with the URL. Sold quite a few of these so far, and they fit into any system. If you're looking to up the aesthetic of your blank spots, check these out. I have some new music coming soon with Erica Synths. There's an interview I'll post a link to in the video description and pinned comment as well. And don't forget to check out my Patreon if you want to ask me technical questions. That's the place to do it. You can learn directly from me there. There's exclusive jam videos and more. If you just want to know what's going on, that's the best way to check it out. And if you want to buy some gear to support the channel, there will be affiliate links in the pinned comment and video description. Anything you buy from there, whether it's a cup, a shirt, or a module, or a full-on synth, will support me. There's links for Asia, EU, and US, so anyone can get it done. Thanks for watching. As always, until later, peace out.